Hey everybody, Turbo 204R time again. No, I didn't blow up the transmission in the 72 Vista Cruiser. This is actually, excuse me, a pretty decent parts transmission. That was just some taking apart and cleaning up and putting back together and putting a shift kit into it. It'll be perfectly fine to use in my station wagon to keep as a spare in the event. And I'm sure one day I'll blow up the 204R that's in the car right now, which is actually working quite well. Look at all these little parts in here. And you gotta say, looks like these transmissions can hang up or hold up to a little bit of use and stuff. Well, today's project, what's it gonna be? Well, for you folks who look at my movies on a regular basis, you know that I converted the final drive, or the differential, from a 308 ratio to a 373 unit, just to give the car a lot of off-end torque and really be able to take off the line. But only one problem has happened. The speedometer is pretty much off on the car right now, so we gotta do something about that. So what's to do? Speedometer gears in most cars they got what's called a drive gear and a driven gear. Nowadays it's mostly electronics and stuff, but to speed things up, what I've done is I've loosened up some bolts. This is the governor plate over here. We'll explain about how governors work another time in the transmission, but basically they tell the transmission when to upshift depending on throttle setting, etc. in conjunction with throttle pressure, but that's a whole other story, like I said. This piece in here is called the governor. Pull it out, and on it we have drive gears. These are the drive gears. Actually, this is where it gets its drive from. I'm going to get the main drive off of the output shaft to drive the whole unit itself over here, and these weights go in and out depending on centrifugal force and depending on how the engine's spinning versus some hydraulic pressure inside that keeps them clamped shut. So hydraulic pressure keeps them clamped shut, and how fast they can be forced open by centrifugal force will tell you when you get an upshift. You can change upshift patterns by putting different little springs with spring kits inside of the units. Maybe you can catch the springs in there. There's a big spring and a little spring. But you can change those with kits, which is what I'll be doing to the car over the winter as well too, because it shifts too early under wide open throttle still. But anyway, I'm drive here, and you have to count your number of teeth on this section over here for your drive section that goes to. You probably can't see it because of shadows and stuff, but there's a driven gear which comes out to a speedometer section. Excuse me, it's on this side of the unit. Down on this side over here. So your driven is down in there. Now, depending on the ratio of teeth, how many drive teeth you have on this section over here versus how many driven teeth will tell how fast that the shaft is going to spin going out to your speedometer cable. Now, as a general rule of thumb, if I remember correctly, it's supposed to be at 60 miles an hour. A car should, the speedometer cable should be going at roughly 1,000 RPM. Now, in the case of mine, because I have a much shorter gear in the back, meaning the back tires will spin more per relative, or the drive shaft is spinning more per relative mile. Okay, the overdrive takes care of the engine side by lowering the revs on the engine, but no matter what, the drive shaft will still be spinning faster because of your shorter ratio. At once, let's see, before I did the gear conversion and the differential, the drive shaft was turning only 3 times for every 1 time that the back wheels were turning roughly. Now it's turning 3 3/4 times for every time the back wheels are turning. Alright, so what this means is now the speedometer gear, or the speedometer cable, is being driven a lot faster, so it's going to obviously make you look like you're going a lot faster for your old road speed. So that's why you have to do these adjustments and get the proper kit. So I need a driven gear that has roughly, I'd say, probably 29 or 30 teeth to match the 11 teeth or 10 teeth on this one. I might have to do my final counts and see, but that'll bring my speedometer back to proper things, because it's reading way too fast now. Like 60 miles an hour is an indicated 80 almost, so that's not too fun. So I have to use the GPS to tell me how fast I'm going. Anyway, Turbo 204R. Just a little bit of an update, and this one will be coming apart in the winter to be taken apart and be cleaned, and I'll do a little bit of a more slow tutorial on these things, an explanation of how parts work and how things work in these things. But anyway, but thanks for joining, and may your day go well, all of you. Have a great day. Bye-bye.